And to think yung inuupuan ko, stool ha. Stool ang inuupuan ko. Pero kaya ko pa rin mag-akyat ng paa. Yan ang Pinoy. Hindi ito bench na mahaba. Ano lang to, stool lang to, pero kayang mag-akyat ng paa o laban.
Ayusin mo mukha mo.
Ako? Aray, napakasakit naman. Napakasakit, Kuya Eddie.
Ang ganda na. Very, very crisp.
Kuya Eddie, napakasakit.
Very clear and very crisp yung pagkasabing, ayusin mo mukha mo.
Open your eyes.
Open your eyes. Ayan, pang ano na talaga yan.
Cierro los ojos.
Kay Banaag na talaga yan, nakadirect pag open your eyes.
Ready na ba kayo?
Ready. We're ready.
Okay, no.
Let's do this.
Fix the face daw. Fix the face.
Okay.
All right.
Kanya-kanyang opening kaya.
Okay.
Tama mo to, sana. Naka-record na yan.
Naka-record na to, oo.
Okay, so, behave.
Behave, okay.
All right.
Kaya tayo stiff eh. Behave.
Ayun, correct, oo. Misbehave.
Walang misbehave.
Hi everyone, welcome to Usapang Wala Lang. Loosely, it means we'll be talking about nothing, anything, and everything. Coming from three old ladies, boomers. And who's boomers like us? And who's us? The Tres Locas. I'm Lisa, and I'm coming from the great state of Texas.
I'm Lou, and I'm streaming from the not-so-sunshine state of Florida today.
All right, and I'm Tita, all the way halfway around the world from the Philippines, where it's always more fun. Yay!
As you can see from our virtual background, we will be talking about gadgets we used when we were growing up. We thought that instead of talking, three old ladies, instead of talking about our neighbors, we decided to talk about our experiences when we were growing up. Because a lot of young people now probably don't know or haven't seen any of these gadgets that we're using. And frankly, my grandson is tired of hearing me saying, when we were young. So now I'll just be sharing to you what we have done while we were young. So we thought about the gadgets that we used since sliced bread, and we thought that was the best thing. But look at them now, they're ancient. So we will start with Lou. Lou, what are you going to talk about your TV?
About the TV. Actually, it's a television, but specifically, we are zeroing on the TV Trinitron. That's the time. That's in the 70s. Anyway, so our first television is a black and white. There's no color in the Philippines before.
That's the only available.
Yeah, and it's not even Sony. Sorry, Sony. It's Motorola. Oh. So our TV was large. It's gray. It's heavy. Widowmaker. It's ugly. 27 inches. And it's occupying a lot of space. Perched on a TV stand in the living room with those bunny ears. You know those bunny ears?
Rabbit ears.
The antenna.
Yeah.
And it's actually a family TV. We have only one television set in the living room. There's no television room in the bedroom. That was a luxury back then. So the reason is we also, as far as I can remember growing up, we never bought a TV. Everything was a hand-me-down by my brother, my oldest brother, who happens to own a TV and radio repair shop back then. So everything that was not claimed by his customers, so after a sort of a grace period of non-claim, he would sell it or we get the end of it. It's passed on to us. So as far as I
Yes.
can remember, we never bought any television, much so a colored television. I remember my brother, the only color television that I remember is the portable
Mm-hmm.
4 inches
Oh.
television, color television. All right, but
So,
it's Sony. It's a Sony. So I came home and we have a television in the bedroom. But you know, Sony, the Trinitron, it was really a very good technology from Sony. In fact, they launched the first one in 1968. Before that, color TV was very slow.
mm-hmm. Right,
1920s, and
right.
usually it's connected with a television station. Like
Yeah,
in the 1920s, it's the Baird, BARD,
yeah.
with BBC, and
Uh-huh,
then in
uh-huh,
the
uh-huh.
1940s, it's CBS,
Mhm.
RCA, but they
Yeah,
were not perfect.
yeah.
So until 1968, so the Sony president and co-owner Masaru Ibuka announced the technology, and he
Uh-huh,
promised that in
uh-huh,
6 months it will be
uh-huh,
in store, and by golly they did. So they have 10 prototypes. So the first prototype is
uh-huh.
KB1301, the one
Okay,
behind. So they
okay.
launched that, and it sold 228 million then.
Wow,
Mm.
dami ah.
So but remember,
Bestseller.
back in our days, even if that's Japan next door to us, the buying of a color TV back in the Philippines was still slow. Not a
Right,
lot of
right,
people own a
right,
television set.
right. Go ahead,
You
Liz.
mentioned that you only have one TV, and like
One
now, every room has a TV. I
exactly.
remember growing up, our TV, all the kids in the neighborhood are in our house every night because we have one TV we watch. And the colored TV is only three colors. You know, it has a plastic like X-ray film type. You
Oh,
have the
I remember
blue,
that you
the
put the
red,
blue
and
film.
yellow.
Yes.
Yeah, it was more of a film actually, no? It was a film filter, but it actually didn't put color onto the images that were projected on the TV, right?
Actually, growing up, I don't really remember watching a lot of television because coming home from in elementary, coming home from school, so you're allowed, you eat your snacks and then you watch a little bit of cartoon like Popeye or Casper the Friendly Ghost. I remember Saturday night is Penthouse 7
Oh,
Wow.
yes, I
Archie
remember.
Laxton with Archie Laxton and Nick Montserrat. So
Uh-huh,
that's where
uh-huh.
I learned my dance moves
Do you guys
because of
remember
the
when we were
reception
younger? After 12 midnight, there's no more
Hmm.
shows on
show.
TV, and then it's just stripes,
Yeah,
and
and
then there's
and
music playing.
yeah, and the
So that's
TV,
yeah,
all the TV stations would always end with the Bayang Magiliw,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
national anthem.
remember those color stripes?
Mm-hmm,
That's the technology. So
mm-hmm,
the Trinitron is a tricolor, red, blue, and green, and the Tron. So if you look at the back of your television, not this prototype, but the bigger ones, there is a
mm-hmm.
tube which is the source of the color. It splits the color, goes through
Yeah.
two filters, shadow mask. Now the aperture is the grill, the vertical grill. So if
Mm.
you just imagine the color goes through the slots in the grill. So before they were narrow. So now the current color. So when the TV station signs off, you see these bars, color bars. That's the grill. That's a vertical grill called the aperture grill. So,
Mm.
so the advantage of Sony Trinitron is like it is really the color accuracy, the contrast, and they have the best LCD. So
Yeah.
LCD is the liquid crystal display. So that's the black. When
Mm-hmm,
your television is off, that's the liquid,
mm-hmm.
right? So, and you also use that for computers and for aircraft monitor for the pilot. So really, Sony to me is really probably the one who really uh,
Revolutionized the,
revolutionized color TV. But of
yeah.
course, I think they stopped production in 2014 because their
Mm-hmm.
patent ended in
Mm.
1999. So
Mhm.
when a patent ends and other companies can get access to your technology and surpass them. But Sony is very smart because after they stop it, they went into plasma TV, high
Right.
definition TV.
Right.
And now even our cell phone is Sony can we can
Mhm.
watch movies through our cell phone.
Yeah.
So that's television for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, I see the typewriter on Lisa. So what is this typewriter about? Is that the singer? Because I used to type my reports in training and don't have a laptop before. So what is that?
Well, that's just how I remember the typewriter we have. I grew up with a typewriter because my mom worked as a clerk in the mayor's office. So she's
Mm.
always typing reports.
I
And
see.
my oldest brother, he's in college, he would type and he was really good. To use this typewriter takes a lot of skills. You need to know how to type by touch. You
Mhm.
cannot be sick and point because it's going to take you forever.
Yeah.
And because you cannot make a mistake, because if you make a mistake, it's hard to erase the letter. See this carbon
Yes.
paper?
Yeah.
That's how we did duplicates. So
Uh-huh.
when you have a mistake, you cannot just erase because even if you roll it up, erase it, you cannot put it the same line as every. So you
It's
have to begin all over. And then they came out with a whiteout, like Lou said, to erase
mhm.
it. But then
Mhm.
it doesn't look
Ugly,
nice, especially if you're
unprofessional.
submitting a report.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they came with a tape that you insert so
Oh
that you
yes. Over it.
type over the tape and
Yeah.
erase. But then if you have duplicates, then you have to put the carbon paper. That's how we did the duplicate is using a carbon paper that
Right.
Understand?
smudges on your finger. So when you put your, there's a lot of steps, and every step is really challenging. Your fingerprint is on the paper. You have a bond paper, a carbon paper, and then the
Uh-huh.
onion skin
Uh-huh.
so that you can make two or three copies of the same letter.
Right.
It has to be like onion skin, more like a trace paper, very thin, so that it can go to the next paper.
Yeah.
So when you have a mistake, that's a big trouble. Then you have to know when it ends because then you have to go to the next line. If you go over,
How do you
then
call yeah, there how do you call that lever that you kind of slap, you know, to the
yeah, it's
right?
the shift lever.
The shift lever. There you go. I have a question. Were you ever allowed to use your typewriter? The typewriter in the house? Were
When
you
I have a
allowed?
report, yeah,
Ah,
but
okay.
very slow. I have to
Yeah.
beg my brother to do it for me,
Yeah. I remember
because
those.
he just types like this,
Yeah,
he
it
Oh
is
doesn't
my
even
true.
look at the,
gosh.
oh my, yeah, he doesn't even
Amazing.
look at the keys. He just types because he knows where the keys are.
Let's go back to the carbon paper. So, in the messy thing. Um, the carbon paper was used to do carbon copies, right? And that's the reason
Yes.
why when you had those legal documents, it would always end with CC. You would have the different offices that the CC would go to, meaning duplicate copies, including
Yes.
your personal file. But this word, this CC word, if you think about it, it's still there up until today. The typewriter may have been gone, but CC is still there. You see it in emails,
Yes.
you see it, and I'm not sure whether the millennials actually know what CC means. I'm not sure. Let's ask them. Hey guys out there, if you're watching this podcast, do you know what CC means? Tell you. CC means carbon copy, just like that. So even if we're not using carbon paper anymore today, that notion of having carbon copies is still here today and very much in our documents. Our advantage about carbon paper, I can't seem to get away from that carbon paper. Our advantage
You
is
just
that
love the carbon paper. Uh-huh.
no, only because it sets us apart as boomers versus today's young generation. We know how difficult, how delicate, no, how delicate it is to manage carbon paper. So, yeah. So I'd like to challenge the young ones. Try um, creating a document
Use
using typewriter and carbon paper and onion skin. Okay, And
It gave us an opportunity to really be detailed and careful in our
right,
projects because you
exactly.
cannot just mess it up. You
Yeah,
cannot just haphazardly finish a report,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
It
And
makes
I think
you
all of those also added to the way boomers are wired. You know what I mean? Like we're more into discipline. Do it right the first time. Being very careful, thoughtful, and all that because it's
No,
not
no shortcuts.
no shortcuts exactly because it's not easy.
no
It's not.
reset,
It's, there's
no
no
reset.
reason. So there, that's the story of the typewriter. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the phone because, you know, growing up in the province, communication was key. Connecting was really key. And so the telephone, we never knew anything about the telephone until it came to our house sometime 1965. So that I was about 7 years old at that time, 1965. Growing up with the telephone was interesting because I learned my first courtesy words with a phone. My father taught me how to answer the phone, pick up a call properly, and end the call properly. We didn't have a direct line from one phone to the other. We had to go through an operator.
Oh,
So
I
Mm.
remember that.
yeah,
Mhm.
you do. All right. And our telephone numbers were only three numbers. We only had three numbers. We're a small town. We're 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 called a city, but actually we're a town. Okay, just a small town, and there were probably just 100 or even less telephone owners at the time. So our telephone directory was really just 10 sheets of paper that were folded and then stapled. you know. So going back to courtesy words. So my father said when you pick up a call, you always say, "Good morning, Bolusos residence." That's how you would say it. Imagine that. Today, I mean, who cares? Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Hello?
What?
Hello.
Oh,
What's this?
what? Right. Or worse, back here, they'd say, ano yun? They would just pick up the
Ano na
call.
naman?
Ano na
The
naman?
worst is, oi,
Oy.
Must have been easy to remember the phone numbers of your
Oh
neighbors because if there's
yeah.
only three numbers.
Yeah, and I only had one friend who I would call who was just across who lived across our house. So her number was 509. Our house number was 661. The number of the hospital where my father was hospital director was 449. Our drugstore had 602. That's it. Those are all the numbers. And when I came to Manila and interacted with my cousins, I learned that in Manila, the numbers were six numbers. And I said,
Mhm.
how did you memorize those six numbers? Again, the provinciana in me was intimidated, and they were big black phones. Our phone was colored not black, it was taupe. It was some kind of light mocha.
beige,
Yeah,
beige,
something like that. Yes, yes. So
or
that was
yellow.
no, we didn't
Oh,
have kind of sacred as far as we were concerned. No, we didn't mess around with the phone. We didn't do chit chats on the phone. Unlike the experiences of my cousins who lived in Manila, they would talk about party line. What's party line? And I said, what's party line? And they would talk about it and how they hate the party line and how they would say, "Hoy, party line, ibaba mo yung telepono, gamit namin." So the
that
lines
is
would
awesome. Yeah.
right. So the lines would
Yeah.
cross and all that. And then there's one other thing, that we didn't experience here in the province, and that was phone pals.
A
People here
what?
in my phone pals. So
Ah,
pretty much like pen pals, so now there were phone pals. So strangers, maybe just dialing. Okay, why dial? Because it was rotary dialing. Okay. So you'd go and then it would go back. So
That's funny.
that was fun. And that took time when you were, dialing an emergency number. You would have to wait for it to go back. And you cannot force it back, right? Otherwise,
Yeah.
have you experienced, when the phone rings, you just like want to dash pick up the phone because you're expecting a call. But you
Yeah.
have to really be discreet about it because you don't want your dad to really see that you're
Yeah.
excited to
Oh,
get the phone call.
you're talking about a suitor. Ooh,
Lisa
Yeah.
has a lot of them. And
Lisa has a lot of money.
that will be for a separate topic next time.
They have changed our behavior, whether it's connecting with people, connecting with the world, or in the form of entertainment. Things have already changed. No? As a matter of fact, there has been a, how would you call it? Um, a a combination of all of these gadgets, television for entertainment, the typewriter for writing documents or for sending messages, written messages, and the telephone for connecting via audio. All of these are now combined under just one single gadget, and that is the mobile phone, right? You find everything there already. Entertainment is there, typing documents is there, connecting with people is there. Whereas before, these were separate gadgets. I find ourselves lucky to have experienced all of these things and stories to tell, and for the younger generation to just gawk. you
So
know.
it really started from a very simple gadget,
Mm-hmm.
and either we adjusted to it or they adjusted
Mm-hmm.
to progress. You
Mm-hmm.
notice?
Yeah,
But of course, progress doesn't always mean what is the best uh,
that's true.
situation, actually.
That's true. When we talk about progress and the evolution of all of these gadgets, I think the the developers would always have the best intentions in mind, no, for the users. But you can't help, but there would always be the unintended negative consequences or the risks that
All the
goes with
time.
it, no? Yeah. And so we really just have to be wary and vigilant about all these risks and the negative elements attached to it. Otherwise, we fall trapped to, let's say, entertainment because it's on a mobile phone. A risk is we get addicted to the blue light, no? Guilty. I can't sleep without tuning into the YouTube to help me, get drowsy
Yes,
and fall
Yeah.
asleep, right?
Spotify.
At the end of the day, we have all these fond memories behind us, but at the same time, we're also here in the digital age, no, in the digital space, and unafraid, um, adventurous,
Well, unafraid.
unafraid, to make mistakes. So, and enjoying it every step of the way. So, this ends our episode for today. I hope you enjoyed reminiscing memories with these gadgets with us. And we hope to see you again in the next episode. Bye for now.